just the way I live my life is to avoid my inbox. It's become my favorite sport. Hi everybody, it's Thursday, August 8th. It's another day of Plan As You Go where I show how I use my planners in tandem for an entire month. I'm actually going to make this a fairly quick video because I sort of slacked off all morning and I need to get to work. I'm not even sure what I've been doing. I've been sort of farting around, reading emails, like things like that, and I'm just moving forward with my life. So I've got some pictures already printed. I have a few questions I'm going to answer today, but most of the questions from both today, yesterday, and the day before that haven't been answered yet are in a folder waiting for me to get to them. But one is a quick, easy one to answer. It's from Kira Hunter, who asked, what do you use to print the sticky photos? And she also said, I'm glad that you're on the mend. Thanks, Kira. I use the HP Sprocket printer. I got it off of Amazon. I like it. It prints a little bit yellow, but not enough to bother me. I've got a couple of outdoor photos. I went outside, did a little walking. I was trying to take some reference pictures for some potential flowers that I was going to paint. And I just took some photos to commemorate that I had a nice little walk in nice air. I just used some stickers from this Happy Planner memory keeping book to just put an, oh, what a beautiful day. I didn't really have much to, report on for that day, but I just got outside and that was nice. Looking interesting though for the week. Let's move on to my power sheets. Can I close this? I just don't know. All right, I made a little bit of progress yesterday, but not as much as I wanted to. My husband and I did some planning for the lighting we're going to be doing in the living room, which I counted towards working on a household project. I managed to read a book last night and made this Plan As You Go that I'm doing now. I did not paint yesterday as much as I wanted to. There were other things I didn't wind up doing yesterday either, but we did wind up, actually, I forgot, I can check that one off too. I did manage not only to take Katie school shopping yesterday, I took RJ, we just went together, which was not something I had originally intended on doing, but I got that done, which leaves me today free to get all the paperwork done. Anyway, so looking at this, what do I want to do today? Again, I want to work on this Kanban. I didn't do it yesterday and I want to get to it today. I want to do some more work on the Skillshare class. I know I've got some questions about that. I'll talk about them more when I've had a little bit more time to think. I need to fill out the paperwork. I did some work finance stuff, but we still haven't done the budgeting stuff yet. I'm thinking that's going to happen this weekend when Jesse's home, and I need to buy the plane tickets. I already scoped them out. I just need to buy them for our September trip, as well as all the other things. And I still haven't finished clearing my inbox out yet. I'm going at it like fucking slow as molasses, my dudes. Now going to this, I don't think I updated my pain tracker for Tuesday night. I did not. I took a painkiller both nights, Wednesday and Tuesday. My fistula, aside from my kidneys aching, my fistula has hurt so much over the last few days. Like uncomfortable, like crying. Almost uncomfortable. So just not in a happy place with my fistula. But that's updated. Looking at this is where the reusable stickers are going to come in handy because RJ we don't need to go school shopping for RJ, and I don't need to go to Whole Foods because originally I was going to do shrimp and asparagus tonight, but I had forgotten to buy the shrimp. But I didn't if this one's not reusable, because I have some of them that are the reusable ones and some that are not. Oh, I don't think this is the reusable one. Okay, Whole Foods. I'll just cancel you then. Both kids, we went school shopping yesterday. We wound up eating something else last night, so we're gonna have spaghetti tonight. Otherwise, I have to do the paperwork, and I have a Patreon live today, and I just need to finish getting through my inbox. It's a big, big situation. And then what else was I wanting to do? I need to buy the plane tickets, and I need to paint. Plenty of things to do, of course. I got a question from Stephanie, and also seconded by Crafted a Planned Life, asking me what goes into my 30 and 90-day analysis. What kind of information am I looking at? Ideally, in a perfect world, I would be looking at all sorts of things, but lately, it's mainly just been YouTube analytics. I actually took a course from Gia, Marriage and Motherhood, to go through analytics. It's called an Analyze Your Analytics course. You go through the analytics, you pull certain things, so looking at watch time, subscribers, views, all those things, and then you compare them for the month that you're in and the past 90 days to look for trends and things that are working and things that aren't working and things you might need to work on. So that's what I've been doing, but there's more that I'd like to look at, like stuff with Patreon, stuff with my podcast, but I haven't quite gotten into a good workflow. Right now, I'm just trying to get into looking at my analytics on every month as a start and then build on it. So that's kind of where I'm at so far. That may have been not very clear. Okay, so what did I want to do? Over here, I need to finish my inbox. I need to paint. Those are the two biggies, and then also get other work done, but for sure, my inbox. For sure. As a matter of fact, I think I'm just going to put inbox because that is something I really, really, really need to do. And I am, as usual, avoiding the ever-loving shit out of it. It's just the way I live my life is to avoid my inbox. It's become my favorite sport. Am I going to lose lettering chicken? I might just be losing lettering chicken. Is that even legible? I don't even know. I'm thinking about going live on Sunday. I'm not sure yet, rather than recording a plan with me. I don't know. Ask me again tomorrow. But I like going live. I've really decided that I just love going live, even though I've noticed, speaking of my analytics, that going live is always great for engagement, but it's not always great in terms of bringing more people to the channel, which is something I'm trying to work on. Like, I love having you all here, but trying to find new people who would like to see stuff by someone like me, a little harder. And live videos don't really help with that, but they're so much fun, and I'm thinking about doing it because I don't really have anything else going on Sunday. I don't know. Depends. If my husband and I decide we want to do something, like sexual healing, not all day though. We're not that energetic. Okay. Looking at the rest of this though, I don't have anything else, again, going on this week that I'm like thinking about. So for now, I think this is looking good just the way it is. But definitely getting my inbox, getting the New York tickets, and the school paperwork are all things, basically as soon as I'm done with this video, getting it posted and everything. Those are the things I need to tackle in that order. School paperwork, probably by the New York tickets, then the school paperwork, then the inbox. Just because I need to get the school paperwork done, and the longer I procrastinate on it, the higher chance I'm not going to do it. And in that school paperwork is also the registration paperwork for my son to go to a retreat for a church the same week as school starts, but I'm just counting it all as paperwork together. All right, there is my checkoff for the plan as you go. And I have one other question I had set aside for today's video, and that is from Obsessive Stationery, who always asks really good questions on my live streams recently. I just want to mention that. I noticed that our last couple live streams, but then also said, how do you think paper plane and bullet journal is going to sustain its way through a digital age? We are fast transitioning. It seems like everyone I know except me is going digital, and by the way, I love you. Well, by the way, I love you too. Let me figure out who I'm drawing first, and then I'll get to that. So I'm on my last catch up, which is Flora. Like I said before, my favorite of the fairies when I was younger because she's so bossy. As I've gotten older, Merryweather has become my favorite. And then Jack from Cinderella. I guess one of the things I could say for one is that I feel like people have already thought that like analog was dead. You know what I mean? The advent of apps and mobile phones and all that was going to like kill off any sort of love for analog paper situations, you know. And then the iPad Pro came out and it gave you the way to like write things down while still being digital. But the way I see it, there's always going to be, as far as I know, there will always be a market for people to use paper planners, paper whatever. And I don't think it's because it's more productive or whatever, except even though I've read studies that say that people remember things better when they physically write them down. And I mean, that's how I am. I do much better if I write things down than if I'm putting them on a Google Calendar. I don't remember things when I put them in the Google Calendar. I remember them because I get the notification. But when I write things down, I think better and I remember better. And there's just so much that I feel like I do better when I write. And I think there's a lot of people like that. So I feel like it's not necessarily a question of whether or not people are going to stop using digital, or that the people that you know only use digital or whatever the case may be. I feel like you just need to connect. I mean, part of the reason I feel like I know so many people who still use paper planners rather than analog planners is because I met people through the internet. So that's a big part of it. You know what I mean? If you just know your people in your real life, you may not know a lot of people who do paper planners. But if you meet them through the internet, like following me or whoever, then you have a higher chance of finding people who do the same thing you do. And I think that that is, worthwhile. I don't think paper planners, I don't think bullet journals, I don't think any of those methods are going to go anywhere. They're going to continue to evolve. And like for me, I use a Google Calendar and I use digital. I use a Google Calendar and I use paper planners, and I'm happy with that. And I think there's always going to be a place for writing things down, just like I think there's always going to be a place for paper books, unless somehow we run out of trees and it's not a good idea to use paper anymore. I don't know if that actually answers your question or not. I think, my kid, for example, one of my kids has not found a planner system that they like very much yet, because they need one that fits their size of their desk at school and their life and blah, blah, blah. But they like to write things down. And I think part of that's because they are an artist, and part of that's because they just like it, I also think that there is often, and this could be just me blowing smoke out of my ass, but I think that there is often a backlash. So everybody going super digital with the Palm Pilots back in the day and everything else, with the way people who love digital stuff kind of started defining how productivity or whatever was considered to be, the way to do things. I think that there was a backlash, and I think that some people were like, well, fuck this. I'm not going to just be digital because you tell me to. I'm going to use what I want to use, and I want to use paper, And it's always been here. There's always been people who were enthusiastic about their paper planners, their paper products. Always. I feel like I'm super rambling. Suffice it to say that no matter how many people you know that tend to go all digital, you can find people who like to use analog solutions via the internet, or you can get people hooked on it yourself. You could mention it to them and see if they decide that they want to do it. For example, my husband was always like the king of, I only use Google Calendar and all that. And guess who uses a bullet journal now for his note-taking system, because he discovers he retains information and processes it in a better way when he writes it down. So it's possible for everyone. I hope that that made any sort of sense. I feel like I'm a little rambly this morning. I got a suggestion or a question from Megan, who asked, why don't you use these pages for your normal list? The washi is already down. You could put a paper clip or something to take you to the page. Actually, that's a great idea. And I feel like I might do that after by the time I'm done with this spread, I'll probably know whether or not I want to use this or not. And so I may move it to whatever that next spread is. That's a great suggestion, Megan. I may wind up doing it. Jessica asked, is there any way to film about your and Jesse's budget system? I know you said his system was working better. Maybe. It's not really fancy. It's used with not real Post-its, but the stickies that you can put on the app stickies on your computer. I'll talk to him about it. I don't know if he would be in, I would need him to be in on it because he's the one who's in charge of it. But maybe, I don't know. All right, there's my lettering, Flora and Jacques. And now to look at this. So I got all of this done yesterday, and I got a couple things here, but most of it I did not get done. So that's the list I need to make for today. So off of this list, paperwork, school shopping is done. I can cross that off. But the paperwork needs to get done today. And then did I write plane tickets? I should write that down too, because then I can check that off. And I need to buy those paper goods. That was the other thing I need to do today. Plane tickets, paper goods, paperwork, finish my inbox. Those are all things off of this that I'm going to try and get done. Plus I have that Patreon Live. So that's the list I'm going to make right now. And the last question I think I'm going to answer for today, and I know there's a lot of questions, especially some heavier questions I haven't gotten to yet, but I will get to them. I'm in a bit of a rush today. The last question I'm going to answer is from McKenna, who asked, what is something you're excited about when you release your lettering book? Well, there's kind of the two things I think that are at the top of my list for excitement. One of them is actually being able to hold it in my hands and show it to people and be like, holy shit, I wrote this. Holy shit, I'm an author. That's in and of itself something I'm super excited about. The other thing is being able to schedule, I mean, I could do this whenever I want to, but actually having an excuse to schedule some events. There's a bookstore in town that I might wind up doing something with. I've got some friends who are asking me about potentially hosting like a launch party. I'd love to teach at the local art supply store, and I've kind of talked to them a little bit. I mean, not necessarily about launch party, but like just in general. So doing like in-person things here where I live, as opposed to traveling somewhere else. That's really high on my list of something I'm excited about. And having a book, I feel like, is, if I was ever going to need an excuse, publishing a book seems like a good excuse, right? So that's what I'm excited about. This is a fairly small list, and I'm hoping that if I get through this, I can check some other things off as well, but I want to keep it kind of minimal today so that I don't feel overwhelmed, especially since my kids go back to their dads tomorrow, so basically our last week of summer together is wrapping up. I would love to take this back to Obsessive Stationary's question in the comments. How do you think that bullet journaling and paper planning is going to sustain its way through a digital age? What about you and the people in your life? How do you think, do you have a reason behind why you use paper planners or whatever? I'd love to just continue this conversation in the comments because I think I answered it very vaguely, and I'd love to hear other people's opinions. If you have any questions for me, you can ask them in the comments as well. Just use the word question and I will do my best to get to it at some point, as you can see. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in tomorrow's Plan As You Go video.